Hi, I'm going to take a look at my plastic or non-wood ukuleles today. Now, I recently got sent this lovely Enya Nova U Concert Uke to me to review by Enya. Just found out Enya means N is thankful or humble and Ya is elegant. I love that. So Enya, humble and elegant. Anyway, so Enya sent me this quite recently. I did do a review on it and I've had this. It's a Brunswick ABS ukulele for years. So I thought I'd just take a little look at the two of them and do a little comparison. Now, I don't think you've ever seen this ukulele before. It lives in school, has done for many years, but it's exactly the same as my Welsh flag ukulele. Hang on. So, as you can see, there we go, the matching twins, or they don't look the same, but they are the same model uke, all right? So just to explain, you've seen this one many times, but you haven't seen this one before. There are quite a few different makes of non-wood ukuleles. I'm calling them non-wood rather than plastic, because technically they're sort of composites or hybrids and things. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you've got the likes of the Macala or Carla Waterman, the outdoor ukulele, the lava. They're sort of, I know they're electronic as well, but they are plastic. Flight, do a travel ukulele, the populele, Bugs gear. All right, but as always, these are the ones I've got in the house. So the Enya versus the Brunswick. So while I've still got them both in my hands at the minute, just to give you a quick rough comparison, they're both concert size. Neither of them have any wood at all. I'll go into some of the specs in a minute, but the most obvious difference is the width, okay? The Enya is definitely a travel ukulele. It's much, much thinner, the body, whereas I would say the Brunswick is more of a normal width or sized uke body. Right, so before I do any playing, let's just have a quick look at the instruments themselves. Both plastic. This one is an ABS plastic, whatever that really means. It's, I would say, a thicker material overall. It's a moulded body like the Enya. In fact, on the very back, you can see there is a mould point by there. As far as I can see, it's one piece, the body itself, but the top is stuck on as a separate part, as well as the fingerboard. That all seems to be stuck on. The very top, we've got open tuners. They are unbranded. Okay, they work perfectly well. So in terms of quality, there's nothing really I can say bad about these. Up until really recently, it has had no knocks. It has sat in my classroom. I play it all the time. The kids love seeing it. And then absolutely typical, the very last day of term, I was coming out of school absolutely fully laden with stuff, and this, no case, it was my own fault, was resting on top, fell off onto a really gravelly car park, and the only damage it sustained, it was quite a fall, is a tiny little mark. I'm not even sure if you'll see it. Okay, so, you know, this one has taken a battering over the years. It's only had one bad fall. I can see, you know, the actual plastic itself, it's got scratches on it, but I have played it a lot. It's got a tied bridge. Inside, there isn't a lot I can really say about it. It's all nice and clean and tidy. The action on this, let's just have a little look a minute. At 12th fret, it's just under the 3mm mark. All right, it's acceptable. It's not the lowest, but then again, the frets are plastic. All right, I haven't noticed any fret wear on this. And as I said, I've been playing this uke for, it's got to be almost 5 years, okay? The way it plays is pretty much like a standard ukulele because of the size of the body. The one thing that I really, really wish I could do and I can't is it doesn't have a strap button. There's no block at the bottom, so I'd be slightly concerned about drilling into this. And I'm also suspecting the neck itself is hollow. As and when I play these and I feel I need a strap, I use one of those hook straps that goes underneath and around my neck. 19 frets. There's no fret markers. Again, it's just a little something, but that would have been quite nice. But as I said, this is actually a UK company, Brunswick. I've got a Brunswick baritone in school as well. And what can I say about them? They're not a bad brand. They're a fairly cheap budget brand. These ukuleles, when they were really fully available in the shops, were roughly about £25. You can still pick them up new for anything between £20 and £35 at the minute. But that's my Brunswick ABS Concert Ukulele. No wood in it. As I said, moulded. It's chunky. Okay, so here's the Enya Nova U Concert Ukulele. This is actually the updated version. I have done a full review on this quite recently. I'll talk about prices a bit more in a moment. As I said, the obvious difference is this is a travel ukulele. It's got a much, much thinner profile. We'll discover if that affects the sound in a few moments. Other features, this one does have strap buttons. And in fact, this comes as a whole set. It comes with a strap and a case as well. No wood again. This one though is a composite. It's carbon fibre polycarbonate. I hope I've got that right. All right, so they claim, and they do sort of sell it as carbon fibre, but it is a hybrid polycarbonate. This one feels very different, okay? The Brunswick has got a typical plasticky, shiny feel to it. This one hasn't. It's very tactile. In terms of features, again, it's got open back tuners, unbranded. It's a one piece. The whole body here is one piece, but the top fits on, and you can't see the join there. You can see the join on the Brunswick. This one has got this very snazzy sound hole in the front and top sound hole. You can just see that by there. The neck, because this tactile feel is very easy to play. So I did check the action of the Brunswick. Let's have a quick check of the action of the Enya. The Brunswick was 3mm at 12th fret. This one is, get the light, 275mm, so a fraction lower, but they're both nice to play action-wise. 18 frets, but it's got this little cutaway as well, just to make it a bit easier to get up to the top. Quite a snazzy design. This does not look like your typical ukulele, irrelevant of what it's made out of. The Brunswick has a traditional ukulele look. This one doesn't. So if you want to find out more detailed information about the specifications, I've done a full review on the Enya. And if you want me to do a full review on the Brunswick ABS ukes, leave a comment below. Right, how are they sold? This one is sold as a pack. It comes in loads and loads of colours, orange, blue, white, pink, flowers. But it does come with a case and with a coordinated strap. So the case and the strap sort of match whatever colour ukulele you've got. The Brunswick, this is what I do like about the plastic ones. You can have all sorts of weird and wonderful designs. And as you can see, the Brunswick has got or had lots of weird and wonderful designs, but it doesn't come as a pack. It just comes as the standalone ukulele. So in terms of price, the Enya is normally round about the £80 mark, but you can find it in Amazon sales and things for a bit less sometimes. The Brunswick, as I said, was roughly about £25 a few years ago. Now it's going to cost between about 20 and 35 to 40 pounds. So this is a cheaper ukulele than the Enya. And I gotta say, whenever anybody sees either of these ukes, they do comment on the look of them. This one in particular, because it's so different looking, but this one always has a few nice comments as well. As does the Welsh flag ukulele. Mustn't leave that one out. So we'll do a little sound comparison now. I'm doing it slightly different today, and this is one of the reasons why I'm filming downstairs and not up. I want to use this, my large condenser microphone, and get it as close to the actual ukuleles as possible, all right, rather than it just being the room sound, just to give you a slightly better idea. I purposely didn't want to speak in between those because I want you to have a fair idea of the two ukes side by side. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea of the sound of them. As I said, this is the first time I've really compared these, playing them at the same time. My first impression, but it'll be interesting to hear the recording of this, is that I think this is probably slightly louder, but then again, this one has got the bigger body, and this one is quite, not quiet, but it's quieter than this, but it's certainly got a very nice trebly tone. And I should point out, these are the original strings on here. So these strings are 4 or 5 years old, whereas these strings are a little bit newer. Take two. I came out a little bit earlier and it started pouring down with rain. It's a little bit windy, but they are outdoor ukes. So let's have a little listen to them outdoors. Wow, the sun has come out. I may have to cut the lawn. That just gives us a little idea of what they sound like outdoors. As I said, I did get caught in the rain earlier. I wasn't overly worried about the ukes getting wet. I was just a bit more concerned about my camera. So it just gives us a little bit of an idea of how the sound carries outdoors for our outdoor ukuleles. So that was just a little outdoor test as well, just to give you an idea of what they sound like outside. I know it's a bit windy, but just so that you know what the sound carries like, because, you know, at the end of the day, they are meant for outdoor ukuleles. They haven't got wood on them, so I wouldn't be worried if they got caught in a shower. I probably wouldn't let them get soaking wet, or at least if they did get quite wet, I would make sure they were dried properly, especially any metal bits such as the machine heads. So you've got the Brunswick, cheaper, round about between sort of 20 and 40 pounds. You've got the Enya, between about 70 and 80 pounds. This has got more of a traditional feel and look, even though it's plastic and purple, whereas this one is slightly more styled and certainly turns heads. They're both available in a range of colours and patterns and things. This one comes as a set with a case and strap and matching accessories included. This one is just the uke. It is a comparison. I don't really want to go down the which is my favourite or which is the best route. This one is lovely to play and lovely to touch. This one really is built like a brick, even though it's landed on a gravelly floor and it took off a tiny little bit. It has stood up to the test of time very, very well. So yeah, I think the Enya wins, but then it is more expensive. But there is a certain place in my heart for these Brunswick ABS ukes as well. And I mustn't forget the fact that it's my Welsh flag ukulele was the first one of these that I bought. They're not as available as they were, certainly on Amazon. On the actual Brunswick website, they're not listed at the minute. But if you do a little bit of digging, you can get them. They're still available on Amazon. And I know that they're definitely still available, certainly in some UK shops too. Would I recommend either of these ukuleles? Well, yes, I'd recommend them both because they've both got their place. Quite a few of the pupils in school have had these over the years, various patterns and things. One did have an issue in that it had been left in a boiling hot car, and the bottom of the top, the bottom bit of the top of the uke started coming away. A couple of clamps and glue, and that was put straight back on, and as far as I'm aware has held since. But that's the only issue I've come across with these, having known about them for many years. I've only really had this a couple of months, so in terms of does it stand the test of time, I can't really comment on that yet. But go and check out my review video because you can see me in action playing this ukulele. So there we go, Brunswick versus Enya. They both came out fine. The Enya is slightly nicer to play. This one is slightly cheaper. They both come in lots of colours and patterns and things. I do hope you've enjoyed this video, or at least found it slightly helpful. As always, I'm trying to put that down as we go. If you've got a comment or a question, drop it below. Give us a like if you've enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on new videos. Thank you for watching.